Thank you for joining me here today at Stovefold HQ. It's a cold December morning and we've got the shutters up here at our demo area looking at the new Hampton 5 wood-burning stove. Despite my breath, I am very warm sat here. So yeah, let's look at the stoves themselves. So to my right is the Hampton 5 standard, Defra approved eco-design stove in the burnt grey finish. And it comes with the wooden handle as standard, but also has the brushed chrome handle as an option, which is this small little handle here, which is an optional extra that can be added onto the website. And here we have again the standard version, but on the generic wood store, which we also sell on the website. It doesn't come with the stove as a standard, it does have to be purchased separately and is available in wood-burning stove accessories. This one here also has the rear flue box, which attaches to the back of the stove and then obviously leaves the top of the stove completely flat, which is really good for putting a heat-powered fan on or a kettle or even a pot to cook on. So firstly, we're going to talk about the numbers to start with, because it's becoming very important. 10 years ago when we started selling stoves, very rarely anyone would ever ask us what emissions the stove's giving out or even what efficiency the stove's giving out. But as it becomes more important to think about the environment and as it's more in the papers talking about the clean air around us, we need to sort of start confronting the issue and making stoves that are cleaner burning. So these stoves here have been fully SIA approved, British standard approved. They also meet the Defra regulations and are also approved to meet the SIA Eco Design Ready 2022 regulations too. The stoves in fact actually have some of the lowest CO NOX and dust readings of any stove sold in the UK. So when you buy the Hampton, you rest assured that is going to be almost the cleanest possible burning stove that you can really have, and it looks good too, which is always good. So yeah, look at the stove itself. So inside the stove, just the same as all wood burning stoves really. So we've got the vermiculite brick base. This is where the wood burns on. So unlike a multi-fuel stove, which has a grate and an ash pan underneath, wood burns completely on the base because wood burns better with air flowing over the top of it, whereas smokeless coal in a multi-fuel stove prefers to have air rushing up from underneath. So, and the sides as well, lined with fire bricks too, and then you've got the steel baffle plate bolted in at the back, which goes all the way over the fire. The air on this stove, just like the Purifier range, which we also sell, is fully drawn in from the rear. So there's a 100mm circular outlet here at the rear, where all the air is drawn into. It then gets split off into a separate chamber, so it rushes up the back of the stove, and then is dispersed through the series of holes at the back here, and on the baffle plate too. So the air's rushing up and over, and it's then being fed through these holes over the fire. So it's creating a good, slow, clean burn with not excessive air getting under the fire, overfiring the wood. So the stove's currently going. We've got a few logs on there now. I just want to show how controllable the stove is. So the controls of the stove are very, very simple. It's a simple push-pull mechanism. So currently it's fully open, but now let's close it down. You'll see an instant change to how the fire's behaving. The air's been fully closed off, and now the stove's really died right down. And now if we gradually pull it back out again, I should say you should be wearing the glove at this point. And you see a sudden rush of air back into the chamber. So the air's flowing through the holes at the back as well, but it's also dispersed like a curtain onto this glass front as well. So the air's coming in from the rear, through those holes, and going over the front glass. That's really crucial because that's a key factor in keeping this glass clean and clear. As you can see, it's crystal clear, and that rush of air helps to keep this glass clean. And the good thing is it gets right down to the bottom. So many stoves you see it starts getting dirty from here where the air wash just isn't effective enough to help keep the glass clean. But the Hampton 5 doesn't have that problem. Just want to tell again. I just like doing this really. There we go. So yeah, it's quite good fun. So yeah, the stove's Defra approved, so it's got a Defra stop here on the vent, which prevents it being fully closed off, which can also be removed if you're not in a smoke-free zone or if you're not installing it onto a 5-inch line or a system. So we currently have the stop removed because obviously neither of those apply to us here where we are. But the Defra stop on this one isn't too restrictive. So some stoves, it really doesn't close down at all, but this one on the Hampton model, it actually does still fully close down very well, which is a good feature really. So the door itself, cast iron door with a full fire rope seal, and a nice feature on this stove is the wooden handle. So for a long time we've been playing with wooden handles, and quite often they get scorched against the body, or they're too close to the glass. The glass is very hot, they get burnt. But because of the positioning of this handle, it's cool to touch, doesn't get scorched, and just looks just different and unique. Obviously not to everyone's taste, so if you didn't like that, also comes with the option of a little brushed chrome handle. No extra charge for this, just if you did want that added on, that can be done on the website. It's also worth going back to the air as well. We also have options for this part here, which is the direct air feed kit on the website. What that does is that can go directly into the 100mm air outlet on the rear of the stove, and then draw in air from the outside. So the pipe goes through the wall and the air is directly going from the outside into the stove. However, the stove's a 5 kilowatt unit, so if you're not in a new build property, there's no need for an air brick, and it'll draw in air from the room. So there's no need for that in most situations. So the stove also comes with a heat shield option too. So a bolt-on heat shield onto the back of the stove, which reduces distances to combustibles from 375mm down to just 300mm at the back of the stove. So what that's perfect for is people if you've got a freestanding installation close to a combustible material. It just allows the stove to be very, very close to a combustible material instead of being pushed right out into the room. Many stoves have quite deep distances to combustibles at the back of the stove. Quickly, let's open the door of the stove. So the handle's still cool. That's very warm. Front of the stove, cast iron log retainer. Quite good because it's got quite a high level to it, so it stops the logs rolling forward. And this is fully cast in here, so it stops the embers falling out onto the actual ash lip too. So I'm going to have to close this again because my leg's getting very warm. So the body itself, full steel construction as we mentioned, with a cast iron door, chrome knob on the front too, and also has a 5-inch flue outlet. So standard with the stove is the 5-inch flue outlet here with a blanking plate on the back, and as we mentioned, you've got the vertical rear flue box as an optional extra as well, and also the heat shield too. And I think that's about it really. If you have any questions, please do let us know. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much for watching.